What's going on, guys? Justin here from 79 Productions, and I thought I'd make a quick video on buying project cars. You know, I get so many comments with people asking me, oh, how do you get these cars so cheap? Where do you find them and stuff like that? First, I'm located in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's in the Greenville area, the upstate South Carolina area. I moved here from Miami like 2 years ago, so, you know, but anyways, that's not the point. But you know, here's the thing: you could find, even back when I was in Miami, I was finding cheap project cars and stuff like that, you know. And you know, now that I'm here, I find cheap project cars still, you know. Depending on where you are, you know, they might range a little lower, a little higher. But you know, like 2 months ago, I went to California, seen a bunch of cheap stuff out there too. So, you know, wherever you are, you can find cheap project cars. The places that I find them, they're on, you know, I find them on Craigslist all the time. I find them on OfferUp, Let Go. I haven't really bought anything from Let Go yet, but you know, I do see them on Let Go as well. So yeah, so Craigslist, OfferUp is where I find most of the stuff that I buy. And I'm gonna explain to you some stuff when buying a project, what you want to look for, what you want to, you know, what you want to spend. First of all, look for something that, if you're handy, if you're capable of changing an engine, if you can do body work or stuff like that, just know what you can do. Or, you know, if you're a young guy and you say, hey, I want to pick up a project and see what I can learn to do, you know, there's a bunch of great projects out there for that, you know. But let me show you one of the cars that I just bought, and you know, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So yeah, here we go. It's a 1999 Honda Accord, and this car is a four-cylinder. It's a four-cylinder, 5-speed manual transmission. Now, the guy that I bought this from said that it had a bad head gasket, and you know, I got it to start the other day. It jumps on. I used some starting fluid, and it jumped on, and you know, he said it has a bad head gasket. You know, I'll do like a compression check or something like that. But yeah, so this had a bad head gasket. He was asking, now for this car, he was asking $700. But the thing is, it's a 1999 Honda Accord, and it has 230 something thousand miles on it. You don't pay $700 for something like that. Now, when I send them a message, now a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, you lowballed him. No, I didn't. You know, I sent him a message for $200. Maybe I lowballed him, but yeah, so I sent him a message for $200. And immediately he sent a message back saying $350. And I was like, okay, well, let me go look at the car and see if it's worth $350. So when I got there, you know, I checked it out. The inside's a little messy. You know, it needs to be cleaned. But the thing is, you know, I was like, okay, well, you know, he told me $350. I told him $200, and you know, I told him, hey, you know what? I'll give you $300 and I'll take the car today. Now, when you're buying these cars, one of the things you got to understand on Craigslist, if you're looking at the car, it'll tell you how long it's been on Craigslist. So if you find a car that's been on Craigslist for like 3-4 months, or OfferUp will tell you the same thing, how long it's been on there. If you find a car that's been sitting there for months and stuff like that, most of the time, those are the people who are going to take less than what they're asking for. They're going to take a lot less than what they're asking for, because half of the times, if you don't buy the cars, they're going to go to the junkyard. You know, and over here in South Carolina, I don't know about other parts of the country, but over here in South Carolina, I think like metals, like when you scrap a car, you know, when you send it to a junkyard, I think metal's like $4 for every 100 pounds. So they're probably getting like, you know, $100 and something for these cars. So, you know, $300 is a good price for them to get if they're going to end up scrapping it anyways. Now, here's the thing. So with these cars, you know, if you know how to work on cars, if you can change a head gasket, or you want to learn how to change a head gasket, go ahead and find something like that. You can get them for $200, $300, $400 all day, no matter where you are in the country. You know, you just got to keep looking for them. Now, and here's another thing when buying a car. If you don't know how to do all of that, and you think you can't do that, then, you know, find something running and driving. But here's what you got to think when you find something running and driving. say if I find that running and driving, 1999 Honda Accord, we're just using that as an example because that's a car that I just picked up, right? So if I find it running and driving, you know, even for something like that with 230,000 miles on it, you really don't want to pay more than $1,000 for it. I'd say $1,500 max if it's running and driving good. I wouldn't even go $1,500 because chances are something with mileage like that, something's gonna go wrong with it. You know, whether it's a head gasket, whether, I don't know, it's gonna need a battery, an alternator, something sooner or later. You know, something's gonna go wrong with it. So you don't really want to spend too much money on that. You know, save your money and, you know, find something better with lower mileage and maybe spend a little more money. But you know, when you're shopping around for these project cars, you got to think about all of that stuff. You got to think about, hey, well, you know, what's going to happen if the transmission goes out? Am I going to pay $1,500 for the car, $2,000 for the car, and then it end up sitting and then I sell it to someone else for $200-300? You got to think about stuff like that, you know. So anytime you buy a used car, you got to look at what can potentially go wrong and what's already wrong with the car. Like this, right away, I seen that the car didn't start. Now, he did say there was a bad head gasket, but when I talked to him on the phone, he told me it ran, that it started up, no problem. So when I got there, it didn't start. You know, that you know, wasn't a big deal to me because I knew I'd probably swap the engine out anyways. So, but the thing is, you know, when you get there in the car, let me tell you this. If you get there and the car doesn't start and they say it started and you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to work on cars, walk away from the car immediately, guys. You know, save yourself the headache, save yourself the trouble. You know, now if you need to jump start it and maybe the battery went dead from it sitting for a while, hey, go ahead, you know, then check it out. But even still, if it doesn't start, automatically don't pay them what they're asking for. First of all, never pay them what they're asking for. If someone's asking $2,000-3,000 for a car and they don't want to come off at least a couple $100 or more, you know, first, if someone's asking $3,000 for the car already, hit them low, hit them at $2,000, you know, and see where they are. Because half the time you can say, oh, I'll give you $2,500, and they're gonna say, oh, well, I'll give you $2,750. Well, give me $2,750. You know, there's always a little wiggle room. But when you hit them a little low, when they're asking $3,000 and you hit them at $2,000, then they're gonna bring that number what the price that they're really looking to take. Half of the time, if someone's listing a car for $3,000, you know, that they usually take $2,500, $2,700. So if you hit them at $2,000, they're gonna counter you at $2,500. So, or $2,700, you know. So yeah, so, you know, never pay what they're asking for. And if they're not willing to budge, hold on, guys, let me wipe the rain off the camera. Yeah, if they're not willing to budge off the price, you know, walk away. There's always good deals. Like this, you know, back to the Accord. I've seen. He was asking $700 for this. I've seen at least 10 of these cars between OfferUp and Craigslist for $600, for $500. You know, they all have problems. So don't pay what they're asking for. So now, if you're looking for a running and driving car, you know, try to come off the price a little bit. Don't pay what they're asking for again, because, you know, you always end up having a problem and you'll always have to fix the car. So where I find the cars, like I said, Craigslist, OfferUp. When you're looking for the car, also, if you see a car that's been sitting for so long, like, say, you know, if you see that car, 1999 Honda Accord, it's been sitting and they're asking $2,000 for it. They say it runs and drives. It has 100,000 miles, which is low miles for that car. If it's been sitting that long and it hasn't sold yet, there's probably something wrong with it. Now, let me show you this car, the $200 Civic project. This one I picked up for $200. The guy was asking $600 for this. He said it started, it didn't start. Now, when I got there, all the pictures, this fender was good and everything. So when I got there, I was like, what's going on with the fender? You know, what's going on with all the dents on the side of the car? He was like, oh, well, you know, the engine dropped off the motor mount and I I started kicking the car. So a lot of the times you go to buy these project cars, people do dumb stuff like that. You know, the car's sitting there, they'll end up taking the radio out, they'll end up taking parts off for another car. They list it and they don't tell you that they did that. You know, it's a waste of time to drive over there and see something like that. But like I said, you know, for me, it doesn't really matter. It just depends what you're looking for. Because with that car, you know, I knew it was going to be a long-term project that I was going to fix up over time. So, and I only paid $200 for it. If worse comes to worse, I'll part it out. I'll sell it for parts. You know, I'm going to fix it anyways, but you know, you can always get parts. Okay, let me give you another example. This right here. This is a 1979 Ford F100. I bought this for $800. Now, if you look, the doors and stuff, I still gotta line all of this stuff up. You know, I'm not really gonna make a video on this one, but I bought this for $800. It fired up. You know, it needs a little bit of work, but the doors are different colors because I bought this. Sometimes if you got room, if you got space, you go with this. You know, you buy a parts truck. Now this was a complete cab. It had everything on it, the front fenders, the cab. So I bought this truck for $500. What I ended up doing, I sold the cab for $300. I sold the rear end for $250. I sold the wiring harness for $150. I sold the wheels for $150, the wheels and tires. So I've already, you know, sold more than I spent on the truck. So this truck right here, the parts truck, which has a big block 390 in it and a C6 transmission that's going to go in that one, I've already, you know, I'm in the positive like $300-400 on this truck for what I sold already, you know, from the stuff that I sold already. So now that truck right there, you know, that pretty much by the time I'm done, you know, selling the pieces off of that and putting that together, I'm probably gonna have like $400 into this truck, $500 into this truck. So guys, if you know how to do stuff like that and you got the space for it, you know, me here at my storage yard, I got plenty of room so I can put stuff around, I can leave stuff around, park these trucks, take them apart and stuff like that. So I have the space for it. If you don't, you know, stick to something simple. But guys, when you're buying these project cars, look at how much you know how to do. You know, if you know how to work on cars, if you want to learn how to work on cars, guys, don't be afraid to buy a $300 car. It's $300. You know, worst comes to worst, you end up scrapping it for $150, $200. You lost $100. You lost $200. But in the best case situation, you buy that car for $300, you go find another engine for $200, or you fix the head gasket yourself, you swap it in, and you have success. And, you know, now you have a good running car for $500-600. You know, don't be afraid to tackle these projects, guys. You know, but I'm gonna wrap the video up there. I'm gonna wrap the video up here. If you like these videos, if you like the advice I'm giving you, if you want more advice, let me know and I'll put another video up. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. God bless you guys.